Dear Mary, come have breakfast today. We have your favorite sweet potato porridge and meat buns. George called out with a smile, looking at Mary, who was dressed in a purple robe and had a graceful figure. George, I've thought it over carefully, and you should leave all the contributions you've made to the family over the years. I've converted them into money and transferred it to your account. We signed the divorce agreement last month, and it is now in effect. He has returned, and it's time for us to end things. Hearing this, George's movements instantly froze, and after a moment, he barely managed to force a smile. I understand. Today, I want to spend a good day with Lily, and I will leave in the evening. After George and Mary got married, he began his life as a stay-at-home dad because Lily needed a father. Over the years, he worked hard to learn various skills, all to better integrate into this family. Moreover, Mary had once helped his sister with her illness. Although his sister ultimately passed away, he has always remembered this kindness. Today, Mary's original partner has returned. George knows that the man is quite formidable. Even while working hard in New York, USA, his business continues to thrive. However, later on, he encountered health issues and, lacking children, chose to return to Mary, hoping to reconcile. Mary frowned slightly at George's words, but in the end, she said nothing, turned around, took a few bites of breakfast, and then left in a luxurious nanny car. George looked at the 10-year-old girl, Lily, in the back seat, his eyes filled with reluctance as Mary's words from the morning floated in his mind. Uncle George, why are you looking at me like that? I have to tell you, I won first place in the piano competition at school today. The teacher praised you for teaching me well. Lily thought Uncle George seemed a bit strange today. Although Lily called him uncle, in her heart, George had long been like a father to her. From the initial unfamiliarity and resistance when she was 2 to their close bond now, every little moment between them testified to their deep affection. Lily, you're amazing. Uncle wants to tell you to be good and listen at school. If anyone bullies you, you must tell your mom, okay? George advised. In the past, when Lily was bullied at school, he was the one who stepped in to resolve it. Once, he even got into a fight with the other parents, ending up covered in bruises. But his reckless fighting scared the others, and from that day on, no one dared to bully Lily again, which brought them even closer. Uncle George, what are you talking about? She wouldn't care about me. She always just calls the secretary over. It's useless. But with you around, those people don't dare to bully me. If they dare to bully me, I'll beat them up. Lily said, waving her little fists. Huh, come on, today Uncle will take you out to have some fun. Whatever you want to play, Uncle will accompany you. George felt a sharp pain in his heart, but he held back his emotions. He had known this day would come. I didn't expect to be so deeply involved, but it's for the best. Everything should come to an end, and he should start living his own life. In the original agreement, there was a clause stating that if the two of them divorced, he would have to leave the United States and live in another country. In other words, he would have to wander abroad afterward. So this was his last time accompanying Lily out for fun, marking a perfect conclusion to their 8 years together. George spent the whole day having fun outside with Lily. After returning home, Lily took a bath and went to bed early. George walked into the room, gently tucked the little girl in, and looked intently at the small face that had been with him since she was 2 years old, still showing the joy of a day spent playing. How about we leave tomorrow instead? It's so late. Staying another day won't hurt, Mary said, looking at George, who was holding a suitcase. Her brows slightly furrowed. For some reason, she felt a sense of emptiness inside. But as people say, it's better to be with the original partner. Although George is quite excellent, he still falls short compared to her ex-husband, who is Lily's biological father. George quietly looked at Mary's perfect, flawless face, her skin as white as snow. He knew that this woman had always been thinking of someone else. Countless nights, when she was drunk or sick, she would call out that person's name. Perhaps it was love that could not be attained, or maybe other reasons, but one thing was certain. He had never truly entered her heart. However, he still smiled and replied, "Let's leave today. If we wait until tomorrow, I'm afraid Lily will notice something while she's asleep." it'll quietly slip away. I've told her it'll be on a business trip for a while, and she should forget about it after some time. Lily has been a bit anorexic, so please pay more attention to her. I've written down the dishes she likes on this piece of paper. Over the years, I've learned a lot from taking care of you all. Thank you. I'm leaving now. George took a deep breath, smiled, waved his hand, and left with a facade of calmness. After getting on the plane, George gazed out the window. Fortunately, over the years, he had worked hard to study and use the knowledge he gained to repay the favor he owed Mary. She should see the note he left behind. George picked up his brand-new phone and looked at the empty contacts in her face, which he had prepared as required. He could no longer contact them, so he left his old phone behind. But he had long memorized Mary's number. It didn't matter to him whether he saved it or not. That number would always be hidden in his heart, and he had never thought of dialing it again. Looking at the white clouds outside the plane, George knew that his drifting life in a foreign land was about to begin. He didn't have much money left on him and needed to find a job quickly to make a living. Mary stared blankly in the direction George had left. The outside night was pitch black, without a glimmer of light. Had left in such a hurry. It was clearly her who had made him go, yet there was not a shred of joy in her heart. Looking at the note in her hand, she opened it, seeing the mention of the bank card. Her heart tightened, and she couldn't help but quickly walk towards George's room, her hand holding the note trembling slightly. She felt she owed nothing to George. Over the years, she had provided him with ample food, shelter, and money. Upon seeing the bank card, she hurriedly checked the transaction records on her phone. As she looked at the various amounts of remittances, tears instantly streamed down her face, and she collapsed onto the floor. George, you deserve all of this. Why don't you want it? Suddenly, Mary thought of something and quickly took out her phone. But in the living room, she saw George's phone, which she had asked him to leave behind that morning. Sigh, he probably doesn't have much money left. The most recent donation record was from 2 months ago. What a fool. She thought about how she would give the money to George if she had the chance. In the future, she knew where George's hometown was, but she had forgotten the stipulations in the agreement. The next morning, Mary didn't go to work. She thought that since George had just left, she couldn't let her daughter notice anything unusual right away, so she needed to spend some quality time with her. Moreover, her ex-husband Tom would be back tonight, and she planned to surprise Tom with her daughter, especially since the daughter had always asked where her dad had gone. Lily, get up. It's time for breakfast. Seeing her daughter dressed neatly, Mary said gently, Where's Uncle George? When she heard her daughter immediately ask about George, Mary's expression changed slightly, but she quickly replied, Uncle George went on a business trip for some work he told you about. Now eat up. This is all your favorite. Although Lily found it a bit strange. After all, Uncle George had never gone to work before. So how could he suddenly be on a business trip? But she remembered that George had indeed mentioned it to her yesterday. So maybe he had found a job recently, and she didn't think much more about it and started eating breakfast. No, this isn't made by Uncle George. I want to eat it. It's too bad. Lily took a bite and immediately spat it out. This was made by the aunt. Uncle George left you some food, but I thought it had been in the fridge too long, so I had the aunt make a fresh batch. Is it really that bad? Mary wondered as she picked up a spoon and took a bite, only to spit out as well. Butler, has our aunt's cooking always been like this? The aunt we hired isn't cheap, madam. It's always been at this level, and most chefs outside are about the same. Our aunt's skills are actually quite decent. Then why is George's cooking so delicious? Didn't the kitchen staff learn anything? Mary said, dissatisfied. That's something that can't be learned. Mr. George has to try a dish thousands of times, and every step is meticulously refined. Even if he teaches us, we wouldn't. I won't be able to learn it. Go heat up the food George left in the fridge, Mary said helplessly. With the comparison, the difference in taste was too obvious. She really couldn't eat the aunt's cooking. Butler prepared a portion of the lunch Uncle George made for me. I want to take it to school. Uncle George is on a business trip today, so he'll bring my own lunch after eating the breakfast made by George. Lily clearly became happier, swinging her little feet. No need, Lily. Today, Mommy will bring you lunch. What do you want to eat? Mommy will have someone make it for you. Mary said gently, wanting her daughter to gradually wean off her dependence on George's cooking. After all, George had already left. I want to eat what Uncle George made. Mary was momentarily speechless. All right, let the driver take Lily to school. After Lily left, Mary frowned and instructed, go to the market and find a skilled chef to make dishes that taste just like what George makes. Okay, madam, but don't get your hopes up too high. I looked before to try to make things easier for Mr. George, but I couldn't find a chef who could replicate that taste. Stop calling him Mr. all the time. George is still young. Call him young master. Can't those chefs practice a bit? If George can do it, it shouldn't be too hard for them, right? Mary felt uncomfortable hearing the title Mr. They can't do it, young master. George studies each type of vegetable for a long time. We neither have that patience nor his level of professional knowledge. The butler shook his head and said, who cooks using knowledge of mathematics and physics? They can't do that. Let's go look for it first. By the way, how much food does George have left in the fridge? It's packed full, but can only last about 3 days. Besides the meals, there are also desserts, the butler sighed. Mr. George is such a good person. Why doesn't the lady know how to cherish him? But he's just a butler. There are some things he cannot say. By the way, let's make something delicious at home tonight. Lily's father is coming back. Also, let's tidy up George's room and not leave any of his things behind. But Miss Lily, it's fine. Just say we have a guest staying for a few days. Mary rubbed her forehead. George's room is the master bedroom. Besides her own room, it's the only other master bedroom in the house. Her ex-husband is back, and she needs to give him an attitude. As for her daughter, she thinks it shouldn't be too much of a problem. In the evening, Mary changed into a formal dress, her long neck elegant and beautiful like a swan. Wow, Mom, you look so pretty today. What's the occasion? Is Uncle George back so soon? They'll go check, Lily, who had just come home from school, said excitedly. Without waiting for her mother to respond, she ran towards George's room, with Mary unable to catch up from behind. Lily joyfully entered George's room, only to find it spotless, with all the bedding replaced with new ones. A sense of unease rising in her heart, she quickly opened the wardrobe and discovered that not a piece of George's clothing was left. There were only 2 new pajamas inside. Then she swiftly climbed onto the bed and rummaged through the nightstand. Where's the doll I gave to Uncle George? Where did you put Uncle George's things? What are you doing? Lily suddenly recalled George's odd behavior yesterday. Those reminders didn't sound like something someone would say when going on a business trip. Where's my Uncle George? I'm asking you, where did he go? Lily shouted hysterically at Mary. Lily, how can you talk to your mother like that? We have guests at home today, and your Uncle George just happens to be away, so we let the guest stay in his room. The person coming today is someone you've been wanting to meet for a long time, Mary said with a frown, not expecting her daughter to react so strongly. The person I want to see the most is Uncle George. He's just on a business trip. How can you throw away all his things? This is Uncle George's room. It belongs to him. This room is just easier to tidy up. And didn't you used to dislike your Uncle George? It's fine. Once the guests leave, it'll restore the room to its original state. Okay, no. No one is allowed to touch Uncle George's things. Where are his things? Did you break anything? Lily said firmly. Over the years, George had been her support, her guardian. She wouldn't allow anyone to bully George, not even her own mother. Well, those things were old, so I threw them away. What? Lily's eyes widened instantly, and without a second thought, she rushed out. Mary hurriedly chased after her, fearing something might happen to her daughter. When she caught up, she saw Lily frantically rummaging through the trash can, her disheveled appearance prompting Mary to scold her. Enough, Lily. Your real dad is coming back today. Let's go wait for him, okay? Not enough. I don't have a dad. Uncle George is my dad. When I was bullied, he protected me, and he was hospitalized for over a month after getting beaten up himself. When I struggled with my studies, he taught me bit by bit. When I was sick, he was the one taking care of me. I know Uncle George treats me the best. He is my dad. Lily cried until her voice was hoarse, her hands scratched and bleeding from the things she had touched. Mary was frightened and quickly grabbed her daughter, not expecting her to have such deep feelings for George. "Did you drive Uncle George away?" Suddenly, Lily stared intently into Mary's eyes, asking each word slowly, her voice hoarse and cold, making Mary's heart tremble. But seeing her daughter like this, she didn't dare to admit it. "No, he's just on a business trip. How about this? If you don't agree, he'll have someone restore the room to its original state. Okay? Uncle George's room doesn't have anything important." Mary was startled by her daughter's demeanor and quickly had someone restore George's room to its original state. Fortunately, the blanket hadn't been thrown away. After giving her daughter a bath and seeing her calm down, Mary finally sighed in relief. But then, she felt a headache coming on. It seemed that it was impossible to completely sever her daughter's ties with George all at once. She could only hope that when Tom returned, he could help distract her daughter. She didn't have much feeling for Tom anymore, but having him around did give her some face, and he was also her daughter's biological father, which was significant. "Come on, sweetheart, let's go pick up Daddy for dinner." "I don't want to go. I have homework," Lily said, and went straight back to her room. She was still angry about the things being thrown out at home. Mary stretched out her hand and ultimately sighed. She felt that when George was around, her daughter was particularly obedient, but now that he was gone, her daughter seemed very unfamiliar. Not long after, Mary returned to the villa with the extraordinary Tom. "Where's our daughter? I haven't seen her. I brought her a gift. She's in her room, doing homework. We'll go check on her and call her down for dinner." "My daughter," Tom said. "It doesn't matter if she doesn't study," Tom said with a smile. He had the capital to say that. As for his ex-wife having been with another man, it didn't matter to him since that person was gone anyway. "Sweetheart, Daddy's back. Stop doing your homework. Let's go eat with Daddy. Here, Daddy has money. Go away. I want to finish my homework," Lily said with a frown. "Who said studying was useless? Uncle George said that only by studying well could one better understand life." "Huh. I didn't expect my sweetheart to love studying so much." "That's great. All right, hurry up and finish your homework so we can eat." Tom was mentally prepared for his daughter's attitude. After all, he had just returned. When Mary saw Tom come down alone, she asked in confusion, "Where's our daughter? Didn't she come down? She said she wanted to finish her homework." "Mary, let's have a good talk. I've had enough fun outside these years, and you've been with a man at home. Let's just forget the past and go back to remarrying. We can raise our daughter together. What do you think? You dream on. I'm only accepting you back as the father of my daughter. That doesn't mean I accept you, to be honest. Besides having money, you can't compare to George at all," Mary said disdainfully. "Haha, but in the end, you still chose me. That kid, what face does he have to take you out? He's just a pretty boy. What's so good about him? You let him go, which means he's not as good as me," Tom said confidently. Hearing this, Mary fell silent. Indeed, when she used to take George out, she always felt like she was with a pretty boy, so she rarely took him out. "All right, I won't push you. Let's find a time to remarry." Tom's confident expression made Mary frown. She was used to the equal treatment she had with George and was not accustomed to Tom's attitude. "Tom, you better tone it down. I don't need your money. If you keep being so self-righteous, just get lost." "Ah, sorry, I'm used to it. It'll change slowly." Tom didn't expect Mary to react so strongly, but for the sake of her daughter, he endured it. There was only this one child at home. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come back to seek reconciliation. With a loud bang, something fell, and Mary thought, "Oh no." Sure enough, when she looked up, she found that her daughter had somehow appeared on the stairs, and the cup in her hand was rolling on the floor. "Sweetheart, let me explain. It's not what you think." Mary hurried forward, but didn't know where to start. After all, it was her who had let George go. "What's wrong? Have you developed feelings for that man?" "Sweet daughter, I'm your real dad, and he'll treat you well. Whatever you want, Daddy will buy for you. That man before was useless, but your dad is capable," Tom said nonchalantly. In his view, there was nothing that money couldn't solve. "You're not my dad. My dad is Uncle George. Did you drive my dad away?" Lily first glanced at Tom, then stared into her mother's eyes, hoping to hear a denial. Seeing her daughter's gaze, Mary sighed. At this point, she couldn't hide it anymore. Oh, it's not that Mom wants Uncle George to leave. It's that your real dad has come back. He doesn't belong in our home anymore, so he left on his own. Uncle George has been so good to you. When you had a headache, he rubbed it for you, and he worked hard to find medicine for you. You have a stomach problem, and he brings you food every day. Has your conscience been eaten by a dog? This man says Uncle George is useless. Can't you hear that? I only have one dad, Uncle George. I want to call my dad. Lily didn't even glance at Tom. She ran straight back to her room, picked up her phone, and with one click, dialed George's number, which was the most convenient number to call on her phone. However, she soon heard George's phone ringing in the villa, and her heart sank. She hurriedly followed the sound and found George's phone on the dining table. You won't even let my dad take his phone. Lily knew George would never voluntarily put down his phone just so she could reach him anytime. Now that the phone was here, there was only one possibility. Mom had left the phone behind. Sweetheart, this is such a small matter. He doesn't even work here anymore. Of course, the phone should be returned. How can you talk to your mother like that? Tom scolded, putting on a good father act. Who are you to tell me what to do? She says you're my dad, but do you really think you are my dad? Let me tell you, that's impossible. This child must have been corrupted by that country bumpkin. Mary, look at her. She doesn't even recognize her own father. What will happen in the future? She must be taught a good lesson. Tom was somewhat exasperated. No one dared to defy him like this. You dare touch me? Do you really think the law I learned from Uncle George is useless? You are not my dad. If you dare to lay a finger on me, he'll have you thrown in jail. Lily was unafraid. She was well-versed in legal knowledge and was no longer the naive child she once was. You, Mary, aren't you going to do something about her? Look at what she's become. Shut up, you. Be back on the first day and start arguing with your daughter. What do you want, Lily? Your mother has reasons for doing this, although I didn't tell you in advance. It's for your own good. How is bringing back a man who wants to hit me the moment he opens his mouth good? Mary was also furious with Tom's behavior. What did he have to want to hit their daughter right after coming back? Mary, you can't blame me entirely. What does that man have that makes her think of him? Tom looked down on George, believing he was useless. Shut up. Don't speak ill of my dad. You are the real country bumpkin, and your whole family is. Get out. Don't stay in my house. Lily, you can't be so rude. This is a guest your mother invited, and he is also your biological father. Mary began to feel a headache coming on. She had thought the situation had calmed down, but it had turned into this. Perhaps it was because life had been too smooth in the past that she had overlooked these issues. Then I'm leaving with that. Lily directly dialed a number. Lucy, my mom brought back a man and kicked my dad out. That man wanted to hit me with a belt as soon as we met. Please come and take me away. I'm so scared. Tom was instantly speechless. As soon as Lily hung up, Mary's phone rang. The moment she answered, a barrage of scolding came from the other end, and then the call was abruptly ended. Shortly after, a tall, slender woman wearing a hat rushed into the house. Upon seeing Lily, she quickly approached to check her over, and only after confirming Lily was fine did she breathe a sigh of relief. Are you crazy? You dare to bring home someone who wants to hit Lily? Don't you know she used to have mild depression? She only started to get better after George came. What are you trying to do? Is this how you act as a mother? Hearing her sister say this, Mary remembered that her daughter had indeed had mild depression before. Damn it, she had forgotten about it after all these years without symptoms. Lucy, I didn't hit her. I was just scaring her a bit. I really didn't lay a hand on her. Tom hurriedly greeted her. He knew his sister-in-law, but he didn't expect that after so many years, she had grown into such a mature and charming woman. Shut up. Who do you think you were to scare my niece? Soon, Lucy understood the whole situation and learned that George had been kicked out by his sister, his money returned, and he couldn't even take his phone with him. She was furious. Who says the original partner is always good? If it were really good, would there have been a need to separate in the first place? Sister, you went too far this time. How much has George done for this family, and you treat him like this? He just cooks and picks up the kids. I paid him, and he didn't want it. Cooks when your company had major problems and urgently needed investment. It was George who spent a whole week looking for the company boss, waiting like a dog at their door, and finally impressed them with his own proposal, which brought you the... Sister, this won't do. Lily can't leave. Sister, you should handle your own problems first. I'll take Lily away for now. I'm afraid if she stays here, her depression will relapse. You should know how terrifying depression can be. She was only mildly depressed before. You should remember that we're leaving. Lucy didn't hesitate and directly took her niece away. She felt that if her sister really married Tom, Lily's situation might get worse. Moreover, the child's current behavior surprised her as well. This child really doesn't understand. Tom couldn't help but complain, "Get lost, Tom. I thought you had changed, but I didn't expect you to still be like this. You want to hit her the first time you meet your daughter? Get out and don't bring up that previous matter again." Mary regretted it deeply. How can this be my fault? It's clearly that man's fault. Seeing Mary's fierce gaze, Tom quickly said, Okay. We'll leave first to let you all calm down." Once everyone had left, Mary looked at the empty, lifeless villa. When G was around, the house was always filled with laughter, like a real home. But how did it change so quickly? "Butler, have the aunt make some medicinal soup. I have a headache." "Madam, I can't make that medicinal soup, and you haven't had it in a long time. This soup was developed by young Master George himself. I heard he used wild herbs, and young Master George even went to the mountains to pick them himself." "Lucy, where did my dad go? I really want to find him. He must be very sad. When I saw him that day, his eyes were red, and he said it was from welding," Lily said with concern. "I'm not sure either. Maybe he went back to his hometown. It'll help you look for him. For now, you can stay with your aunt." A few days later, Lucy couldn't help but go back to find Mary. "Do you know where George went? He should be in his hometown." Mary felt very happy to see her sister and daughter. She had been feeling dazed and exhausted these past few days. "He's not in his hometown. Think carefully about whether he mentioned where he was going. Lily, you go get some things, okay?" After saying that, Lily ran to the fridge and took all the food George had made. "Not in his hometown? Wait a minute." Mary suddenly thought of something and hurried back to her room, soon bringing out a contract abroad. "Mary, has your conscience really been eaten by a dog? Like Lily said, to keep him from bothering you. You actually let him go abroad? That's too heartless. He's been taking care of you wholeheartedly. What's he done wrong to you? You're a woman with a child, and a young man is willing to take care of you. You've hit the jackpot. How can you do this?" Lucy couldn't help but curse upon seeing the contract. "I didn't think that much of the time. He might not have left yet. It'll help you all look for him." Saying this, Mary had the security guard check the surveillance. In the footage, George left alone in the middle of the night, and that lonely figure made all three of them feel heartbroken. Great, really great. You didn't even send him off. It's so late, and you let him walk alone. Do you know how far this place is from a city? Don't you know there aren't many cars around here at night? Lily, let's go find your dad. It's not like that. It's not what you think," Mary weakly explained, not even knowing why she had done it in the first place. But she truly didn't mean to. "I'm sorry, George. Will you come back?" Mary was determined to find George. After some searching, Mary finally found out George's flight information. It was a direct flight to New Zealand, but New Zealand is so big she had no idea where to look. Soon, George and Lily's story spread all over the internet. The footage of Lily repeatedly calling for her dad moved countless people. They also uncovered many things George had done for Mary. In a room on a farm in New Zealand, George saw these videos. The videos had gone viral abroad, and he was very touched, not expecting that the little girl had done so much to find him. "Aunt Lucy, do you think Dad will see these videos? I haven't had his cooking in a long time, and I have no appetite at all. He will definitely see them. I heard many people have shared the videos abroad. Your dad is in New Zealand, and the people there said they have already forwarded the videos to him. But we've received so many calls, and Dad hasn't called back. What if he doesn't want me anymore?" As she spoke, Lily's eyes turned red again. "He wants you. Your dad loves you so much. He even took the gift you gave him when he left. He must miss you a lot. Do you want to go back and see your mom? She hasn't been doing well lately. She drove Dad away and didn't even tell me. That must feel so wrong. If I can't find Dad, I will never go back. Aunt Lucy, why don't you marry my dad? Mom bullies me too much." This question left Lucy speechless. Undeniably, George was a very excellent person in her eyes, but he had been with her sister for so many years. Ring, ring, ring. The phone rang. It's a call, Aunt Lucy. You answer it. I've received so many random calls these days. I'm numb to it. She had received too many irrelevant calls in the past few days, and her initial excitement had turned into indifference. Hello? George. Upon hearing this, Lily immediately scrambled to grab the phone. On the other end, George, hearing the sudden silence, couldn't help but ask, Can you hear me? Dad? Dad, it's me, Lily. Do you not want me anymore? I miss you so much. Hearing George's voice, Lily couldn't stop the tears from flowing. This was the voice she had missed day and night. I can hear you, Lily. Don't cry. Dad is in New Zealand now. The scenery is beautiful, and life is very easy here. George smiled, not expecting this girl to be so dedicated to finding him. Then can you come back, Dad? Upon hearing this question, George fell silent because the agreement he signed with Mary was still in effect. Dad, is it because of that agreement? Mom said that as long as you both agree, it can be voided. Please come back. I miss you so much. Lily seemed to sob. Hesitation and urgency filled her tone. Okay, Dad, we'll go back now. Don't cry anymore. Lily's already a big girl. She can't be crying. George, come on. Yay, Dad is coming back. Lucy said, Dad saw my message. He loves me the most. He will definitely come back. After hanging up the phone, Lily jumped up happily. The gloom in her heart cleared away. That night, she shared the good news. Damn it, he actually dares to come back. Someone find a way to create a traffic accident. I don't want to see him appear in front of me unscathed. I want to see if he becomes disabled. Well, that mother and daughter still think he is good. Tom was furious when he learned that George was coming back. He felt that despite his wealth, he was still not as good as George, and he couldn't swallow that. That day, Lily and Lucy went to the airport to pick him up with great joy. They had arranged to meet George at a restaurant near the airport. Lily couldn't wait to see her dad. She didn't want to wait even a minute. On the other side, Mary also received the news that George was coming back, but she didn't know how to face the man she had been with for so long. She was very conflicted about whether to go or not. In the end, she sighed and sat down, feeling that since she was once his boss, it was a bit inappropriate to go pick him up at this moment. George had already walked out of the airport. He had taken an earlier flight back, wanting to prepare a surprise for Lily. But as soon as he stepped out, he saw a small car coming towards him as if it had lost control. By the time he reacted, it was too late to dodge, and he could only watch as the car crashed into him. Bang! A loud noise. George found that he was actually hit. Another car had suddenly come out and crashed into the out-of-control car. Wait, was that Lily? George's pupils dilated as he saw Lily's familiar little face through the car window, now covered in blood. Without thinking, George rushed forward to help. It turned out that Lily had come to the airport early to see George. She happened to see the car rushing towards him and Lucy. Without thinking, she stepped on the gas and rushed over, saving George at the last moment. When Lily woke up again, it was already night. Seeing Lily open her eyes, George nervously leaned in and asked, Lily, how are you? Does anything hurt? Tell Dad quickly. Why were you so reckless, driving straight at him? George felt his eyes getting a bit moist, as if sand had gotten in. I'm not hurt, Dad. I'm not hurt at all. How is Aunt Lucy? Lily asked, seeing that George was fine. Her little face broke into a happy smile, though her pale complexion was very distressing. Aunt Lucy has a broken leg, but she's otherwise fine, no external injuries. It's all my fault. You shouldn't have taken such risks to save me. George sighed, wishing it were him who was hurt instead of Lily and Lucy. How about we leave tomorrow? It's so late. Staying another day won't hurt. Mary had said something like this when she saw George preparing to leave. In that scene, George felt mixed emotions. You can't say that my dad is the best person in the world. He deserves all the good things. Dad, please don't leave me again. I'm so scared. Really so scared that I might never see you again. Lily hugged George by the bed and cried out loud. She was truly terrified of losing her dad again. Okay, Dad won't leave anymore, never again. Don't cry, or you'll turn into a little kitten. At that moment, Lucy also woke up and saw the deep bond between George and Lily. "Can you two also care about me?" The patient said, "It hurts. Don't move around. Your leg is broken and needs proper rest. If you need anything, just tell me." George quickly pressed down on Lucy, and the moment he touched her hand, the soft sensation felt like an electric shock, causing him to quickly retract his hand. I need to go to the bathroom." Lucy's voice was as soft as a mosquito's. If George hadn't listened carefully, he wouldn't have heard her at all. "I'll carry you over to take care of Lucy and Lily." George moved to Lucy's house after being discharged. During this time, Mary visited once, but the atmosphere was too awkward, and she left after a while, thinking she would bring George and his daughter back home later since she had a lot on her plate at work. "George, give me a hug." Lucy saw George coming over and tried to stand up by herself, but couldn't keep her balance. Fortunately, George caught her just in time. Their eyes met, and Lucy's cherry-red lips were just inches away, causing George's Adam's apple to involuntarily bob as he leaned in slowly. Just then, with a creak, the door opened, and Lily bounced in, immediately spotting the somewhat ambiguous scene. She froze in place and shouted, "Own Lucy! Oh no, I didn't see anything. You two continue, don't mind me. I can take care of myself." After saying that, although she claimed not to see anything, her little hands only symbolically covered her eyes while she secretly peeked through her fingers. This little girl's actions made George and Lucy feel both awkward and amused, and the originally ambiguous atmosphere was somewhat dispersed. However, after this incident, the relationship between the two seemed to have undergone some subtle changes. During the 2 months of taking care of Lucy, they increasingly resembled a couple as the days went by. The relationship between the two gradually warmed up, and finally, one day, their romance was exposed when they told Mary the news of their engagement. She naturally strongly opposed it. However, they were determined and didn't need Mary's consent at all, proceeding with the wedding preparations as planned. Lily also basically moved in with Lucy, becoming even closer to George. During this time, there was also news about Tom. It turned out that the driver who was instructed by Tom to cause a traffic accident had his wife run off with another man while he was in prison, taking their child with her. The child ultimately starved to death in a rented room after the driver was released. In prison, he found an opportunity to run Tom over and even crushed him using extremely brutal methods. "I didn't expect it was Tom who hired someone back then. This guy is really bold," George said, wrapping his arm around Lucy's shoulder as they lay in bed, looking pensive. "We should thank him. Otherwise, we might not have gotten together so quickly. By the way, my sister said she's not used to life without you at home, so she wants us all to move back. What do you think?" Lucy rested her head on George's shoulder and asked seriously. She knew that her sister had been able to live so, well, largely because George had been a capable partner managing the household affairs. "That's definitely not going to happen. Now that we're together, we need to completely cut ties with the past. Besides, we have our own life now. Why should we go back?" George firmly rejected the idea, holding Lucy tightly as he continued, "This is great as it is. Having you and Lily by my side makes me very content." "Yeah, I think so too. Let's just enjoy our little life together," Lucy replied with a smile, and the two embraced, dreaming of their future life.